Yeah, hi folks, this is Siggi. Nice to see you again. Nice to have you here with me. Today I'd like you to, well, get known to my Les Paul guitar that I bought in 1973. And in the meantime, well, it looks like me, wrecked, damaged, full of scars. When you take a look at it, you see on the body, you see that the varnish has suffered a lot. There is kind of green mold or whatever it might be. And well, when you take a look at the poties here, you see this mark from turning down the volume, turning it up. You see in the old days when we played on the stage, we had well, these old lamps that were really very hot, and you started to sweat a lot. And as a young boy, you think of rock and roll, you don't think of cleaning your guitar afterwards and so on. This guitar looked very different when I bought it. So let's start at the top. At the beginning of the 1980s, I changed the Clusen mechanics to the Grover ones. And because you see, I always had trouble in tuning this guitar. 1973 was not the best year of the Gibson company, and this guitar in itself is difficult to tune, and I'm not really 100% satisfied with this. There were a few disappointments that well, had to do with this guitar, because you see, at that time I come from a town in Germany with around 300,000 inhabitants. Now, at that time you weren't able to buy a Les Paul guitar, and so a mate of me, he ordered one for me, and I wanted to have a black Les Paul Custom. But what I got was this piece of, well, I nearly had said shit, but at that time I was really annoyed. But on the other hand, I didn't want to give it back, because you see, when you're 18, you want to play, you want to use this guitar. And so I kept it. And a few days after I had got this guitar, I went to Hamburg with my friend. I had my license for 3 days, and my father, who was very, very tolerant guy, he lent me the money for this and for the amp. So in Hamburg we bought an amp, we bought a high watch. But you see, when I was in the rehearsal room, it was quite a disappointment. I wanted to sound like maybe Carlos Santana or people like that. But I didn't get this sustained sound that the Les Paul, therefore, there at that time was very famous for. You see these long notes. We liked that sound, and that was the reason why I bought this. I wanted to have this long melodic sound. And on the other hand, when you had to do accompany work in the band, you normally played power chords. Yeah? So that in the 70s was the reason to buy a Les Paul guitar, because I was not happy with the sound. Well, I changed, or people from me changed the pickups. These are not the original one. I think this is the third generation. And Oliver from Hellever Guitars here in Münster, he put different pickups into it and a pick yard that, well, in the meantime I had a metallic pick yard, and you see the original humbuckers. I changed them to, the first thing I think was a DiMaggio distortion pickup, and all these things didn't really help. But now, because I know the correct amplifiers, I'm quite satisfied with it. Sounds great even if it is damaged. Take a look. You see maybe there the neck got broken. That is the part here where the truss rod is installed. And when you take out this little thing here, you see that there is a kind of hole. And this is the most, what can we say, precarious part of the neck. And once this guitar falls down, then the neck breaks here. It has happened to this guitar 2 times. But you see, I played it a lot. Here, this missing varnish is a proof for that I played a lot on this. When you take a look at the back side, you see where the belt was, and well, I was never really very careful with this guitar, but yeah, I wanted to use it simply. Well, when you take a look at the sound, let's say how it is without a special kind of distortion. This is what it sounds clean like. By the way, I forgot to introduce someone. I think it was at the time of the DiMaggio that someone put in this little thing here. I think it has got to do with the phases. You see, I'm not a real good connoisseur of guitars. There are so many people who know about these things better than me. For me, it was always the most important thing to have a guitar that I could work with, and I did it. And well, so this is the way it sounds. Quite mild and mellow. If I press a booster here on my Kemper Profiler, it sounds like this. If I use the phase thing here, it gets a little bit better. This is the middle section, which sounds a little crisper. When I use a clean sound to play solo, I normally use this one. Yeah, and that is the sound when you play things like Boogie Woogie. with a booster. You get quite a jazzy sound when you play rhythm, kind of jazz stuff. It sounds like this. If you want to play the blues, then maybe you like this one. On the bridge pickup, it sounds quite thin. If you want to play blues rock, I use a distortion. My lead sounds. Although I play rhythm here with it. Well, what else would you maybe like to know about the guitar? I think a sound with the delay sounds like this. So it is far from the crispness of a Stratocaster, and well, but this is in the end my guitar. This is a real vintage thing. You see in one of my videos before I talked about the Stratocaster, and that one looks as old as this guitar, but isn't nearly as old as it, because you see in the companies there are people who have to damage the guitars these days. It's the same as I told in another video like with the jeans today, and maybe in 20 years people will say, hey, why did those guys at that time wear what is the word for it? Jeans that were not okay. Yeah? I hope you liked this one a little bit, and I think I forgot a lot to tell you, but I don't want to bore you, so for today I say goodbye. Yeah? Have a great time and enjoy playing the axe. See you, bye bye.